Hey there, welcome. This is going to this is going to be my very first beginner at life video, but I figured something I can do live as well, and you guys can join me. Today we are going to make sew-on masks or cloth masks because not everybody has access to surgical masks like I do at work. Everybody in this house is essential and frontline to a degree, and I've never done a project freehand. I've done sewing projects that I've had instructions for, somewhat of a pattern. That's what this is right here. That turned out an absolute mess. But I still like to think I'm a beginner at sewing. So we are going to freehand a mask today. Where do I start? I suppose I have to make some measurements for my face in general. Otherwise, you have a mask that's all of 2 inches and a rubber band that stretches across your face. So let's grab our, let's measure from cheekbone to cheekbone. Does that sound fair? Yeah, that sounds fair to me. Cheekbone across the nose. If you're gonna wear a mask, put it over your nose. Otherwise, it does you no good, and you don't help the other people at all. So cheekbone to cheekbone, 6.5. So 6.5 will be our width on the fabric. Now we break through, or we break out the fabric. That's the fun part. I will fold that up later. So I got this or purple, almost said orange. What color is this? I didn't go to preschool. I don't know about you guys. And I got way too much. But that's okay. There's room to make mistakes because I make a lot of them. 6.5. All right. Now, my mother had some of this Taylor's chalk upstairs, and I may have pilfered through her sewing things. She doesn't know how to sew either, but she likes to think she does. Don't tell her I told you that. All right, we're gonna mark 6.5 right now. I know you can't see it too well, but I only have one camera. Sue me. Hopefully that's not and our neck huge. But I guess I could always cut down as opposed to try to fix it all after I've messed it all up. I need a straight edge. I need something straight. Let's try to use this. Use the cardboard. I totally should have done more planning for this, but if I did planning, that wouldn't be as fun. And I would look a whole lot smarter than I am. I think that might be a good measurement. Let's find out. We cut. Almost there. Almost there. Hey, we got it. Okay. Actually, I think I want to make this double layer. Does this count as using a pattern to sew? I don't think it does because I measured it. So we go with okay, scissors again. There we go. Let's set this aside for now. I have enough. I can make like 4 or 5 of them, which is good because there's like 3, 4 people in this house at a time. Maybe I'll make some for the cats too, who are incredibly upset with me. The cats are pretty upset. Okay. Now, Fabric is okay, I guess. The CDC says just to use fabric. I don't trust that exactly, so I got some vacuum bags. Um, we're just gonna kind of sandwich these between the two materials. Uh, let's see how that goes, and then I'll sew it all together. Me being fancy, I have 2-layer vacuum bags. Cut, cut, cut. I'm gonna stick my knot pattern on top of it and freak out because I don't have a Sharpie. I'll be back. Got my Sharpie I used when I used to work at Walmart. I reckon it'll be okay if I get a little Sharpie on the fabric. It's not the end of the world. Well, it is the end of the world, but at the end of the world, who cares if there's a little Sharpie on your fabric? I think I could have done a better job cutting it down. That's okay. You can always cut excess off, but you can never put the stuff that's not enough back on. So don't be afraid to cut excess off a little bit at a time. That's a good analogy for life, too. You can cut the excess out, but you can't put the stuff you didn't put enough in back. You can't unsay words. You can't unburn things. And most of all, at the internet, you can't take back some of the things you said on the internet. It doesn't matter if you delete it. You can't take them back. So, watch what you say. You can think it all you want. Nobody tells you what to think. But watch what you say. Now, I robbed a bunch of pins from my mother's sewing room as well. Thankfully, these don't usually get messed up when you do something like this. I'm just gonna rudimentarily pin it together. Ow. Okay. They're sharp. And I stabbed myself. Because I can't be trusted with sharp objects. How I got my degree, I'll never know. Well, we're halfway done to pinning. I learned the first time I started sewing, the most important part of sewing is not the sewing. It's the pinning. Because how you pin it is how it's going to end up. That's how this turned out to be such a cluster. Look, I said I've done it before. I never said I was a professional. Okay? The channel is beginner at life. Couldn't very well call it that if I weren't a beginner. Break out our sewing needle. And I have this fancy purple shit that I raided from my mother's sewing room. That's purple thread. Now, I wasn't much of a Cub Scout or a Boy Scout, so maybe you guys have some miracle knots that just like don't come undone. Or you were in the Navy, that's another possibility. How do I want to stitch this? I forgot to cut the end of the string. Oh, it got tied together. Oh no. All right. Well, we'll just cut the stitch entirely and start over. It's only one stitch. It's not the end of the world. Thread the needle again. I have a really wide-eyed needle, so this isn't hard, thankfully. I do have a needle threader that came with that kit, but I honestly don't know how to use it. I don't know if there's a special way to tie it off at the beginning. I've looked it up and I just never got a solid answer on it. All I see is tie it off at the beginning. It's not the most exciting video in the world, but given the current state of things, I think it is something that you try and you might learn about. Because if they're talking about opening things back up here in Alabama, you should still probably wear a mask. If only to protect other people from you. And so you don't inhale a bunch of pollen and sneeze and clear out 7 people from the building because they heard you sneeze. What a way to spend your off day. Sewing a mask for your sister. I think I might have to break out the sewing machine because I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to have to do this for the next 8 hours. I'm back. I know what I'm missing. My thread. You gotta thread it through before you try to pull the thread out of the bobbin. I forgot that part. I forgot my presser foot. I almost got a pin stuck in there. Now the best part about the sewing machine is it kind of ties itself. Now we have just 2 pieces of cloth sewn together. It only took like an hour. Now we want to fold our rubber band over it. I reckon that might be the best thing to do. It's real stretchy. It hurt coming all the way around. I could put 2 of these really big rubber bands together. I don't think that'll hurt too bad. Kind of smells like tire rubber though. All right. I think we got the top part to our mask. Yeah. I think I need to actually do the same thing for the bottom. Ah. Yep. Got pink and blue here. So I mean, you getting pink and blue masks? It might. But my favorite color happens to be purple. So whoever is going to get this is going to get purple. It'd be useful to have 2 cameras right about now. Ooh, 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 ooh. I think that's it. I think that's it. I just cut the excess. Yeah. Now, looks a little messy, I'm not gonna lie. So all right. I forgot to push the presser foot down on my sewing machine, so it left a bunch of these little loops. I'm gonna try to show these little loops here on the mask. As this one's really bad. They got a big loop here and here. And it's on both sides. Oh, I messed that up bad. But what can I say? It's beginners at life. This is a mistake beginners make. So maybe now that you've seen me do it, you won't make them. But I think that's it. I tried my best. And my next go around, it won't be my first time. So it won't really be fair to try it again with you. But just know you're not alone. All right. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you leave me a suggestion about things you want to see next. Until then, let's be beginners together.